Coming up next on The Voice of Alabama Politics, a gaping loophole. Also, the V-Team takes a look at the new marshal in town, and there is an investigation. What were Bentley and Strange thinking?
You sure awful quiet, Larry. Cat got your tongue?
I'm thinking.
Have a fig Newton.
I am thinking philosophically.
Oh, you shouldn't do that, Larry.
Oh, now I get it. It was philosophical. All this and much, much more coming up next on The V. Welcome to The Voice of Alabama Politics, where we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. I'm your host, Bill Britt, and as always, I'm joined by the V-Team. Welcome all.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you.
Back on the show this week.
Jack is out. Claire is on assignment with her regular job, and happy to have y'all here today.
You got the kids in town.
Yeah, well, there's a
Some
lot
young
to talk
folks on the
about.
panel.
You know, the first thing I would like to say to all my brothers and sisters in the House and Senate and media, we told you so.
We did.
We did tell you so.
Yeah, I mean, Beth, you know, we reported that Governor Bentley was under investigation as early as August, I guess, or even before that. Mm-hmm. Now the new Attorney General's confirmed it.
Well, and to no surprise, I mean, this whole dance has been so transparent that it's almost laughable. I mean, we sat there, y'all sat and watched the governor go into the grand jury room. All of this was a thing, and then all of a sudden, no, it's not a thing anymore. Lo and behold, Senator Strange has turned his back on the people of Alabama. Mm-hmm. There is an investigation, and I hope that our new Attorney General does what needs to be done.
He certainly looks like he's going to, Susan.
I have the pictures right here of, at the time, Attorney General Luther Strange, Alice Martin, Matt Hart, and Bentley going into the same room. And the minute Bentley entered that room, David Byrne came out. That can only mean one thing, that he was a witness in that grand jury back in August.
That's right.
And now, for Luther Strange to have said that he never said there was an investigation, he knew darn well there was, and so did Bentley.
Why do you think they misled like that, Chip? Any idea?
I think Senator Strange was trying to walk a balance. I don't think that it was good for the people of Alabama. And now I think it's good that we have an Attorney General that has come out and verified this investigation in a way that doesn't break the law, but in a way that lets the people of Alabama know that their governor is under investigation. I mean, this is something that we've been following for over a year now. We knew that this was coming, but now we can move forward with the understanding of that.
And he confirmed that your new U.S. Senator lied about this, and that your governor has lied about this.
I don't want to argue with you, but I don't know if he lied about it. I think he was trying to walk a tightrope and say that he wasn't trying to say there wasn't an investigation, but he wasn't confirming one either.
He should have said no comment.
Yeah, that's what he should have
He should
said.
have said no
it was
comment.
a lie by omission at best.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
That's right.
misleading at worst.
You know, I got more than one spanking for walking that fine line that most people do. You know, you can't tell your mother, no, I didn't eat well, kind of, but no, I didn't eat those chips. Anyway, it's just one of those things. The thing that bothers me a lot is if this investigation does not right the wrong that was done to Spencer Collier.
Absolutely.
I mean, Spencer Collier, they tried to ruin his reputation. They tried to do everything to destroy him. And Chip, I think this is, this is the thing you and I were talking about. They got to get him on this one, I think.
Yeah, there is a big difference between having a girlfriend and using state resources to go after people that you don't agree with or that don't agree with what you're doing. And I think a lot of people would say that they have to do something about this, because you can't have governors thinking that they can do whatever they want to people that don't agree with them politically or don't agree with them about their lifestyle choices.
And a perfect example of that is a judge found cause this week to hold Chris Christie, Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey, accountable for Bridgegate.
Right, Bridgegate being where he ordered his staffers to close lanes on the George Washington Bridge on the New Jersey side, and two aides have already been convicted and are headed for prison. I think Christie's got a problem, and I think Governor Bentley, this may set the precedent that says...
It's very similar, because Chris Christie used state resources to close a bridge to get back at a mayor who did not support him politically.
Right.
Well, and, you know, if I'm a staffer in the governor's office right now, I'd be looking around at my spouse and my children thinking, maybe I should make an appointment to go talk to somebody in the AG's office where they can make an appointment to come talk to me.
We were talking to a former staffer recently, and they said, you know, I never knew when I volunteered to be in the governor's office that I would be hauled in front of so many grand juries and investigations, FBI.
And they're still ongoing.
Yeah.
There's still some investigations out there that we know about, but we're, you know, can't say a lot about right now.
I mean,
there's new ones coming.
Subpoenas went out Wednesday. Right? Wednesday. Subpoenas went out Wednesday. There is a new marshal in town, and his name is Steve Marshall. We've been talking about him, the new Attorney General. Seems like, Susan, this guy is going to stick to his word. He came out and said, if there's an investigation, I'm recusing. If there's not, I'm going to tell the people of Alabama. He did it, right?
He did just that. He did that on Wednesday afternoon. He came out and recused, and that was the signal, like Chip said, without, you know, breaking any laws, that there is an investigation. He held to his word. He has to recuse based on the fact that Bentley appointed him. It would be improper for him to be the Attorney General over that. However, they have former District Attorney Ellen Brooks, who's now going to be the Special Attorney General.
So she's going to act like the Van Davis in this, right? And then Matt Hart will still prosecute.
That is our understanding as of today. You know, we can expect Mr. Marshall to bring in, or Attorney General Marshall to bring in some of his own people. That'd be only reasonable. I, however, hope that this special division of that Matt Hart heads up, the Special Prosecution Division, does stay intact. That's an important unit that does great work.
And speaking of that unit, by the way, you remember the first hire of Luther Strange was Kevin Turner.
Kevin Turner, who left town before being rode out of here on a rail.
That's right.
You know, I think that goes to character, but well, we will leave that for another
Well, they say
day.
that you're the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time around, and so that tells you if that's going to be your first staff hire.
What does that say about us?
That we're a good company.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, this week, again, we wish Steve Marshall, Attorney General, all the best luck in the world. I gotta tell you, I did take an opportunity to let the Attorney General know that I wanted to know how big his fan club actually was, because, I mean, everybody that I like and respect in politics has called me or texted me and said, this guy's the real deal, Britt. He's great. He's going to do what he says. I'm like, all right already, I get it. You know?
Every one of the candidates that were also being considered for Attorney General spoke very highly of him when I called them and interviewed them about this too after they weren't given the job.
And
But does this mean the impeachment is back on though?
It does. Well, we're going to have to get to that in the next segment, but I think it is back on by degrees, I would say. But Chris McCool just thinks the world of you. He called me the other day to tell me how he really appreciated Attorney General Marshall, and he spoke very highly of you. And we're going to have to leave it right there. You're watching The V, the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back with more news and analysis.
Azia Medical Spa offers a relaxing experience using customized skincare treatments and full line of physician-grade products, with professionals that can assist you in determining which treatment options will best help you achieve your desired results. Azia's massage therapies are popular for rejuvenation and relaxation, as well as relief of tired, aching, and sore muscles. Voted the best medical spa in Birmingham for 3 years in a row, visit aziamedicalspa.com to schedule your appointment.
Welcome back to the V, the voice of Alabama politics. Beth, you were talking about before the break that, would the impeachment go forward? Chip, you've been covering this over at the State House. Give us the update.
All day Tuesday this is all people were talking about. And there are some representatives that want to try to get around that stalled impeachment committee now that Mike Jones has said that they're going to give an update next week. They don't know if they're going to move forward with hearings as far as the impeachment committee goes. But there are some legislators that want to use a rule change on the floor to get the impeachment articles up for a vote in front of the full House. They could do that as soon as next Thursday if nothing changes as far as the investigation goes. And that could bring the articles of impeachment up for a vote the following Tuesday, so maybe 2 weeks.
Now, the Speaker has said that they will do their job, they will follow through on this impeachment. However, at the moment, I think people are trying to keep the session from just blowing up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of issues on the table. This is the last part of the quadrennium where anything meaningful will get done, Susan. Mm-hmm. So they don't want to blow the thing up.
No, we've got prisons to address. We've got Medicaid to address. We've got gaming to address. We've got, the Payday lending stuff needs to be readdressed, which we'll cover later. But there's a lot that needs to be done, and I think a lot of them now a lot of the legislators are wanting to kind of push this in the investigation somewhere around the end of session so they can get their work done.
And it's worth noting, too, that a lot of the big bills are in the Judiciary Committee, which is the impeachment committee. You have the judicial override bill in that committee. You have the prison bill that will be coming through that committee. So I think it is accurate that they probably don't want to get bogged down with an impeachment investigation.
They're busy even early on this year. A lot of people have noticed that.
And
I think the wheels have been coming off this session since day one. I mean, I was talking to a lobbyist, was it Tuesday when they were doing the filibuster on that resolution?
Yeah.
And she was saying, I can already see this is going to be a bad session.
They passed 2 pieces of legislation on Tuesday. One of them was non-binding. So, and they spent 8 hours debating those 2 bills.
I said, are there more important issues that we should be discussing than this resolution? But I didn't get an answer on that.
Well, one of the things I think that's important, and this is what we're seeing, is Speaker McCutcheon has a different style. He's fair and he's tough, but he's got some factions within inside that caucus, I think, that are they're still Hubbardites. They still want to cause trouble. They still want to be in control. And, he's got carrots. And I know he's not afraid to use a big stick, but maybe he needs to get him an enforcer. Mickey Hammonds came up for a vote this week. I thought
that was close, too, wasn't it? From what I heard coming out of that meeting. It was tight.
And Mickey was always, I like him, but he was always Hubbard's enforcer. There are a lot of, he barely made it through, didn't he, Chip?
He only got 1 vote over the majority. It was a majority plus 1 when they had that caucus meeting Wednesday, I believe, to decide whether or not he would still be the House Majority Leader. So it was very close, and I think there's a big split from what we've heard between a lot of the newly elected Republicans coming into the House and some of the older Hubbardites and then some of the other wings in the party. And they have a supermajority, and you would think that they could get a lot done. But there's a lot of splits in the Republican Party.
Maybe Isaac Horton can come in and be the enforcer, because that guy's like 18 feet tall, and I would do whatever he told me to do to keep him from squishing me like a bug.
What a sharp guy.
Yeah, he's got governor potential.
Oh, gosh, yeah, he does. Well, look, I mean, McCutcheon's going to have to get his own team together. I mean, that'll happen, I think.
Yeah.
But these factions. I mean, they got nobody else to fight anymore. All the Democrats can't do anything.
I think
We just sit
Speaker
back and throw
McCutcheon
rocks.
has been doing a good job of trying to balance the two sides of the Republican Party and give Democrats the opportunity to debate those bills.
Yeah.
There was
I agree.
not a concerted effort to shut them down. As far as that resolution went Tuesday afternoon, they let them debate it out. It might have been for other reasons, but they let them say what they wanted to say.
Well, and I think that's the way the process ought to work. These people represent exactly the same amount of folks that a Republican district has in it. So, I mean, it's not fair to not let the opposition
Well,
have
and
its
he
way
said all along,
a
this
little
is the
bit.
people's house. It's going to remain. It's going to go back to being the people's house. And by saying that, he's letting those representatives represent their people.
Yeah. Senator Tripp Pittman this week brought up a bill that will affect Medicaid. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but we talked about it last week. It looks like Beth, we might get some Medicaid fraud help.
It's about time. We talked last week. I think we had a great conversation last week about why we need this in there. Because we don't have a fraud bill in Alabama to give people the ramifications if they know somebody is defrauding the system. People need a way to report that. We need to streamline it.
I hear Connie Rose bringing a version in the House, and that hers definitely is the stronger of the two bills as far as enforcement.
Does that bill, do you know if it has the Qui-Tom
Yeah,
It
provisions
does.
in
It
it?
does. She
Yeah.
confirmed that this week.
Yeah.
This Senate bill doesn't have that in it.
Right.
It just gives the Attorney General's office a little more leeway in prosecuting those, gives them a longer statute of limitations.
We need the whole thing. We need
Yeah, we got to put the whistleblower provision in there.
It shows, you look at the numbers, it's very clear that with the whistleblower in there, it's so much more effective.
Absolutely, and you got to have that false claim provision. We really want to get to this. We've got about 2 minutes, I think, and there's an idea in need of a champion, and that is, we were led to believe that when they did the payday lending legislation, implemented the database and all that it covered all these small loans. Well, Susan, it only covers loans from, like 50 cents to $500, and then after $500.01, it's not in the database.
Correct. From $500.01 to $1,500 is not required to be in this database. This is a huge hole. So while, the $500 addresses, basically your payday lenders, there's all these other title loans and all of these that are not in this database. And I don't think that's what the legislation
Arguably,
intended.
the bigger the loan, the bigger the potential for people to get sucked into that borrowing spiral.
Right.
And I know that, Representative Garrett has been a huge champion on this issue in the past, and I hope this is something that he'll take up and push through, because this is something I know he's really passionate about.
Yeah, and so while people can't have multiple $500 loans, they can have multiple $1,500 loans.
$501
$500.
Yeah, $501 loans. I mean,
and-
this is still allowing them to get into that
And
spiral
the
that we've
payday
been trying
lenders
to
have been
avoid.
capped. These other small lenders have been capped at $1,500, but you can get multiple loans. Listen, I believe in free enterprise, and it's fine. These places, we may not like them, but they seem to have meet a need. But what we don't need is allowing these people to prey on these folks.
These bills are known to ruin people's lives.
Yeah.
Some of these loans have $1,000 or 1,000% APRs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. That
It
will
is.
you can
But,
get.
if you're
But Susan, we're going to have to let that be the last word.
Chip gets it this week.
I get it.
That'd be good. You're watching the voice of Alabama politics. Coming up next, Speaker of the House, Mac McCutcheon, sits down for another interview. Welcome back to The V, the voice of Alabama politics. We're again privileged to have the Speaker of the House, Mac McCutcheon. Mr. Speaker?
Good to see you again.
Nice to have you back.
Thanks for coming over.
Well, we love it, the opportunity to sit down with you and get your insight, and just to be here in this chamber with you is very important to us, and our viewers, the response has been overwhelming.
Well,
So
good.
Thank you for sharing.
It's good to have you with us.
The week is off to a fast start. There was a lot of debate yesterday. I know it got a little contentious over the impeachment issue that was leveled out, but it seems like it's calming down now and coming a bit under control.
It is. We had some very good discussions with the members, and of course they're concerned about the first impeachment resolution, which is that investigation process is ongoing. And so members were concerned about that. We're into several months now, and they're just anxious and wanting to know where we are and what we're doing. And so there's several issues out there, but at the end of the day, the most important thing, and I think I've said it before to you, is that as Speaker of the House, I want to make sure that we've done a thorough investigation.
Right.
And when it comes time for the members to vote on that first impeachment resolution, I want them to have facts in front of them so they can make a good vote.
Right.
I've told the members that above all, of their entire elected career as a legislator, this will probably be the most important vote that they will ever make.
Sure.
Because this is the highest elected office in our state, and you're talking about an impeachment vote. So.
And as you and I have talked before, it has to have facts, it has to be based on evidence.
Yes.
And it has to be done right, and it must look right.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
so I appreciate your steady hand on this. I mean, as a voter and as a journalist, this is the type of thing that passions can get out of control, and that's never the right way to handle a situation like this.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
The new Attorney General, we're still trying to figure out all the different nuances, but you have some history with the new Attorney General. Do you think highly of him, or what do you think?
Well, of course, we've had some personal sit-down meetings, and seemed like a wonderful man, a man of faith, and somebody that can be respected. So I'm glad he's in that position. He, like I, came in under some difficult circumstances.
Right.
But he's rolled up his sleeves, if you will, and he's working very hard to get his feet on the ground over there at the office. And I've opened the door to the State House to him. He wants to continue a good relationship, and I'm willing to do that. And I have some history of his work as a DA there in
Right.
Marshall County, and there's been some connection with my DA from Madison County, and over the
Right.
years I have a great deal of respect for his work that he's done.
Well, I was able to speak to him for a brief amount of time, and I was impressed. I tell you, I got so many text messages and calls from people who like him. I did text him and I said, "What kind of fan club have you got?"
Well, that's good going in, that's for sure. He'll need that.
Yeah, well, in politics, as we both know, friends come and go, enemies accumulate, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is so true.
What has been important to you so far this week, and what do you see, going forward, and so what's on your mind?
Well, we've moved forward with the caucus agenda items. These are items that the majority caucus set up as the agenda, and we've been able to move through several of those issues concerning. We continued the budget reform task force,
Right.
And which I think is a very positive thing for the people of Alabama, because that task force is doing a great job.
Good.
And they're coming up with some good information for the legislators to look at. Another thing was we encouraged the governor to create a position in the governor's office, of which he already has staffing, to have a small business advocate. Small businesses in the state of Alabama have so many questions, and they go from this point to this point to this office trying to get answers to their questions, and we're hoping that we're moving towards a one-stop shop to help our small business people
That makes sense.
get some answers that they need. And so I think this will just be a first step of some good things that we can do even through the Department of Revenue to maybe help streamline the business approach for our small businesses.
Right.
So that's a good thing. And then, of course, yesterday we had a couple of items that were on the agenda that were a little bit contentious. We had a long day dealing. One was a resolution supporting Trump, and it became a political issue between the D's and the R's, and we expected that. Everybody has their political preferences, and but the caucus had that down as one of their agendas, so we got it on the floor. Another issue that we had that was a little controversial was sanctuary cities.
Right.
And, you know, House Bill 56 reached out and done a little bit towards the enforcement of the illegal immigration issue.
Right.
But this was more of a focus on governmental entities such as college campuses and those entities that receive state dollars. So it was a little more focused and enhanced House Bill 56 a little bit more. So it was some good debate over that.
How do you feel the group is molding together right now?
I think the House members are coming together very well. They're working with me very well. I couldn't ask for them to be better. They're very supportive, and as we move forward, we've got issues because the one thing that I'm trying to do is respect them in their districts and try to help them with their districts. But then at the end of the day, when we come into this house and you sit in the speaker's chair, you always look from a perspective of a body working together.
Right. Well, and I have to say this, and I know we've talked about it a little bit, I don't know if it makes you comfortable or not, but with the shape that our executive branches and with the governor being under suspicion, you are really the de facto leader of our state. So people are really looking to you for leadership. And I have to tell you, the public out there so far, so good.
Well, I appreciate the support. I covet their prayers and their support, and we're gonna respect the process.
Yes, sir.
And we'll respect that process, the democratic process. It'll move us in the right direction.
Well, we don't need to be rash. That's not the way to handle things.
That's right.
Well, I want to thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for coming over. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
We want to thank Speaker McCutcheon for joining us today. You've been watching The V, the voice of Alabama politics. You watch us because we watch them.